everybody, welcome to the latest episode of Wonder Woman Says. I hope you've been having a nice week. Me and my fiance been having a nice week this week.
Yep, I've been getting a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
I enjoy sleeping.
Yeah, I know that makes you feel really good. Well, we got some new comics to review tonight.
Only 2 this time.
Yeah, it ain't gonna, well, we have a special coming up, but we're gonna get into that later on. Well, turns out Marvel just keeps on rebooting the Avengers. Wouldn't you know? Turns out they got a new lineup this time called the Savage Avengers. This is only 3 of the members. This is a variant cover. It's Conan, Cloak, and Dagger. A lineup I never thought I would ever see, but I'm glad they kind of tried to think out of the box, but let's see what's inside.
I mean, I could pair Conan with Dagger, but I don't really picture him wearing a cloak.
Yeah, well, we start this off. We see one of the Deathlocks getting ready to pull off something real sinister.
This looks like the Invisible Rambo right there.
Yeah, good point with that.
Like if Reb Brown played the Invisible Man, that's who he'd be.
Yeah.
Reb!
Then we cut to a club, kind of a rave club thingy before we get to an underground cult worship thingy with a snake. Of course, Conan's coming to bust that up. Must say, I love this right here. This is an epic shot of Conan.
Yeah. Man, what's up with you, man? I'm the body pooper.
I could totally picture him saying that too.
Yeah.
Then we see the anti-venom looking around for traces of the symbiote. Then we see Conan duking it out with the snake worshippers, killing their master. Before we see the Deathlock come, he sentences Conan to death. Of course, Conan ain't taking it lightly. Actually, my mistake. Cut to another scene. Turns out we see Weapon H just walking down the street. A would-be robber pretty much attempts to rob him. Of course, that's a very big mistake for him, as we'll see right here.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, we see the Black Knight in the bar kind of drinking and feeling sorry for himself, but then he gets excited when he sees the thief across the street, but he gets there too late because Weapon H has it under control. Then we see Conan duke it out with the Deathlock. He even goes so far as to chop off his whole arm and his rifle, but that doesn't do nothing to stop him since the Deathlock is a cyborg.
Yeah, nanobots.
Yeah.
Figures for a cyborg.
Yeah.
Wait, I just realized. Deathlock, Lifelock.
Yeah, it makes you think a little bit.
And also Deathlock, Death Clock.
Yeah.
Which is a great band.
Yeah, actually they got back together too not long ago.
Death Clock? Nice.
Yeah. Here we see Cloak and Dagger. It looks like Cloak is gonna finally admit his love for Dagger, but then they're interrupted by the Deathlock. Yeah.
Yeah. Brutal.
Yeah. They set off the mad bomb, which pretty much causes like mass chaos. And
So literally any other bomb.
I guess so. I ain't gonna tell you what happens past this page, cause we kind of gotta know spoiler policy on this show. Cause I would rather y'all read this instead of getting the ending straight from me.
Well, apparently if Death Clock are there, then presumably Squizgar is going to play an awesome guitar solo, and then Murderface is going to complain that he can't play the bass with his dick or something.
Honestly, that probably would have made me want to buy this book even more. Yeah. Especially since it's $1 lower than most books now.
Yeah, it's like The Savage Conan and Adult Swim. Now that's a comic book.
Yeah. There were more members to be introduced, but I ain't going to go any further because I don't want to spoil the ending. I will say the ending is epic. I advise you to read it.
I don't know if I'm down with the whole Weapon H thing, though. Because he's a Hulk, he's a Wolverine, he's his own fastball special. What's going on?
And like I said, Marvel seemed like it's trying to do something real different now. Because I know we had so many different Avengers lineups, the West Coast Avengers, and I know it was the Great Lakes Avengers at one time too. I don't know if they ever had the comic book or not, but I know they existed.
Great Lakes Avengers? They had a
The
comic
Great
book.
Lakes. Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, there was actually a Savage Avengers before this, but then they canceled that series to, I guess, do this second one. Conan was in that lineup too, with a few others. The Punisher was in the first lineup too. Too bad they didn't bring him back for this.
Okay, so I interrupted you from doing the grade because I'm a dick. What's the grade? Gimme.
I really commend Marvel for taking chances and doing things they normally wouldn't have done in the past. Because, you know, anytime you get to see Conan in the present day, it's a sight you can't look away from, because you're used to seeing Conan in these ancient forests and all that. See Conan loose in the big city like that. It's just a novelty that never wears off.
Yeah, it's like Beastmaster 2, the portal through time.
Yeah. I probably have to give that issue probably a 9. I think it's a very good start to what seems like a promising series. I just hope they keep it going this time. At least give it at least 30 issues before they hit reset again. That seems to be a trend now. Like companies like maybe doing 15 to 20 issues and then starting over again. I guess we passed the age of doing like 600 and 700 issues of one series.
Oh, that's because people figured out that first issues command more on the aftermarket.
Yeah, that's true. Especially he started doing that stuff in the 90s. Yeah.
Okay, so what do we got for our blast from the past?
I know we've seen
Pasty blasty.
Conan here.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take it back though. See Conan again in a solo adventure from 1979. This is Conan number 98.
Oh, this is from back before Jay Leno took over.
You full of jokes tonight.
I actually got some sleep today.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you did. I must say, this is a cool cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sexy.
Yeah. The title pretty much makes it obvious what it's about from the beginning. Of course, Conan and Baylit and I guess their warrior servants, so to speak, are aboard this ship. They see this mysterious woman stranded at sea. Of course, the warriors, they're almost immediately enamored by her sight, pretty much. Because, you know, these men been without women for a long time. Of course, Baylit's suspicious from the beginning. Conan doesn't want to leave her there, of course, because, you know, he don't likes to let innocent people die.
Is it just me or she dressed like the Jolly Green Giant?
Well, I didn't really give that any thought.
As many veggies as you eat? Come on.
Yeah, she does kind of look like a female version now to think about it.
Ho, ho, ho.
Of course, they end up rescuing the woman from the sea. Of course, we're going to see later this is a big mistake they made. Of course, the warriors are pretty much in love with her, you know. Of course, Baylit's pretty much trying to figure out a way to get rid of her. I know the men aboard the warrior men continue to be completely in love with her. Of course, Conan tries to speak to her, but she never speaks. Of course, that kind of makes Conan suspicious. Of course, the lady continues to be aboard the ship, but then the night comes. Conan heads back to Baylit's room. end up making love like they always do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then meanwhile, one of the warriors starts to get close to the mysterious woman from the sea. Of course, turns out, this woman that made the man disappear mysteriously. She ends up getting another man to pretty much follow her. Of course, this time, the man jumps into the sea after her. She ends up giving him this kiss, but God, they put a lot of ads in these old comic books back then.
Got any for X-ray specs?
There's one for Battlestar Galactica.
Ooh.
One for the Fantastic Four cartoon.
Oh, wait, is that the one with the damn robot?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And there's one for an old projector, too. Of course, the man starts to realize that the woman's pretty much drowning him with her kiss. He tries to break free, but it's much too late. He ends up pretty much floating dead in the sea. Conan sees this. He finally starts to realize what's actually happening. So of course, Conan goes after her. The sea woman pretty much catches Conan in the same kiss that killed the other man. Conan's like in the midst of suffering the same fate as the other man, but then Baylit calling out to Conan turns out to be what's needed to get him to kind of break free in time.
Oh, look, it's the little redhead girl from Charlie Brown.
Well, I can see how you think that. Of course, that's Red Sonja. But then Baylit continues to call out to Conan. It gives him the strength he needs. It breaks him free. And as soon as he goes to kill the woman, it turns out he comes up with nothing but a bunch of seaweed, as he thought he was going to bring back her severed head, but then her head is suddenly missing. They never did find out what became of her, but they're just pretty much glad that she gone now. Of course, Conan's forever grateful to Baylit, you know.
Alrighty, so this episode's getting done in record time, so come on, snap, snap, snap.
I think it was a unique story.
I mean, I know I certainly haven't read anything about killer seaweed in a while.
Yeah, like I like the concept of I guess you could call it like an evil mermaid or something like that.
Well, strictly speaking, all mermaids are technically evil. I mean, in the sense that Jaws is evil.
Yeah. Granted, it's like not the usual story we get at Conan, getting into a bunch of sword fights, but it's good to have something different every once in a while. I guess from 1 to 5, I'll give that a 4. I enjoy reading it.
Okay, so what's the special we keep hearing about?
Well, we're gonna have a Memorial Day special on Sunday evening. We're gonna review 3 old school military comics from back in the late 50s, early 60s. Figure we do this as our way of showing thank you to the fallen soldiers over the years.
And our veterans who are still with us, like me.
Yeah, definitely thank you for your service.
Oh, it was nothing, really.
I bet it didn't feel that way when it was happening.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see you on the eve of Memorial Day, and enjoy your weekend. Thank you for watching. Hit like and subscribe. See you next episode.
Bye.